أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم ولا تكونوا كالذين نسوا الله فأنساهم أنفسهم أولئك هم الفاسقون صدق الله العظيم. I seek refuge in Allah from Satan the accursed. I begin with the name of Allah, the most beneficent, the most merciful. All praise and glory are due to Him, who is the Lord, Creator, Sustainer, and Cherisher of all the worlds. And may the peace and blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be upon His and our beloved Rasul Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. I have been given the responsibility to say a few words about Dabistan Iqbal, its purpose, its vision, and then thereafter to introduce our chief guest. I don't know which of the two responsibilities is more heartening, because there's a need. What Dabistan Iqbal is trying to do or seeks to do, it is the need of the hour. Long before we became aware of the phrase battle of ideas or war for hearts and minds or battle for hearts and minds, we have become very familiar with these phrases over the past 10 years. But in 1903, 1904, a 26, 27-year-old Indian Muslim had already seen that the coming century will not be a century of the war of weapons or war of political power. It will be the century of the war of ideas. It will be a war to win the hearts and minds of people. This is something that Allama Iqbal had already written before 1905, before he went to England. So we have a lot of, much of what goes by the category of Iqbal studies is Iqbal copied his ideas from Nietzsche, Iqbal copied his ideas from Bergson, Iqbal copied his ideas from Hegel, Iqbal copied his ideas from this guy and that guy and the other guy from the West. There is no doubt that Allama Iqbal benefited immensely from the greatest Western thinkers, the greatest Eastern thinkers, the greatest Muslim thinkers, and the greatest non-Muslim thinkers. But it is the ignorance of the individual who is making the claim that Allama Iqbal is nothing more than a copy of any thinker. In his essence, Muhammad Iqbal is an original thinker. He did not copy anything from anyone. It is difficult to identify a single idea that Muhammad Iqbal has presented either in his poetry or in his philosophy, which he may have taken from someone else, but he has interpreted it in a novel way and given it a meaning that it was never understood or never studied before. And I say this, you may look at me and judge me by my cover. I would like to share with you something that happened in 1996, 1997, as I was finishing my first year of my PhD studies at Drew University. At Drew University, through sheer chance, sheer luck, I happened to run into a professor named Peter Oakes. And it was my first year at the university, and it was his last year. He was going to move to another university, the University of Virginia. I had taken a course with him, and as a gift, I did not know what to give to him as a gift. And it occurred to me that I should give Muhammad Iqbal's reconstruction of religious thought to him as a gift. Professor Peter Oakes is a PhD in philosophy from Yale University. And he had been teaching philosophy for almost 20 years. He had never studied Islamic philosophy prior to this particular year. When he finished reading Muhammad Iqbal's reconstruction of religious thought in Islam, he carried it around with him almost like a Bible. And this is what he said to me. He said, Basit, Iqbal has accomplished what no Jewish or Christian thinker has accomplished up till today, and probably what no Jewish or thinker will ever be able to accomplish. Now, one may think that maybe Peter Oakes, this is his personal opinion, this is his personal judgment. I would like to read to you from an article written in 1956 in the Journal of Metaphysics. Look at the date, 1956. This is less than 20 years after Allama has passed away. And the person who is writing this article is teaching at Tulane University in New Orleans, Louisiana. And if you know the geography of the United States, if you go any further from Louisiana, you end up in the Gulf of Mexico. So someone sitting in the deepest south of the South in the United States, somehow or other he has gotten his hands on Allama's work. And look at what he says about him after describing some of Allama's teachers in Munich and Cambridge. And this is a quote: Nietzsche has left his mark upon him, as have Wundt, Lutze, and William James. But this is not to imply that Iqbal is merely another Asiatic turned Western eclectic. For Ghazali and Rumi also have been his teachers. The Prophet, the Quran, his constant source of inspiration. It is this fusion of patterns of philosophical and religious thought far into each other that constitutes Iqbal's reconstruction. Very important word, a phrase. An achievement possessing a philosophical importance far transcending the world of Islam. Iqbal, in fact, has yet added another dimension to that school of thought, Whitehead, Burdiev. What Allama Iqbal has accomplished, it has significance, importance, and relevance far transcending the world of Islam. This is the judgment, 1956. Peter Oakes did not read this article when Peter Oakes was making his own evaluation, an independent evaluation. Independent of Peter Oakes and Robert Whitmore, we have the evaluation of Dr. Muhammad Rafiuddin. Again, in 1956, in a speech or a paper titled The Meaning and Purpose of Islamic Research, given at the first Anglo-Oriental, some koi hai, but 1956, Dr. Muhammad Rafiuddin said it is a biological necessity for Pakistan to survive biologically. It's a biological necessity to understand and take Iqbal's thought further. Not just keep on repeating his poetry, not just keep on repeating his philosophy, but to link his poetry and his philosophy with the ongoing developments and the ongoing findings in both the natural and physical sciences and the social and humanistic sciences. Why is Allama Iqbal so relevant to our time, to our problems? And when we say our, we do not mean just Pakistanis. We do not mean just Muslims. We do not mean just Asians. Why is he so relevant to us and our problems as human beings living in the 21st century? I quote from the same mind, body, and spirit in a way that has never been done before. And it is whatever inspiration, whatever benefit Allama may have gotten from any Western thinker, Eastern thinker, whatever the case may be, Robert Whitmore in this article says he has done all of this remaining true to the spirit of the Quran. It is the Quran and the spirit of the Quran around which Allama's philosophy and poetry revolve. This is the greatness of his achievement. Until this is recovered, there is no izzat in this world, there is no economic development for us, there is no nothing. we will be nothing other than the musallis. एक मुसल्लियों की ज़िंदगी हमने गुजारनी है, वो हमारा मुकद्दर है अगर हमने अपने अस्लाफ का दामन नहीं थामा. It gives me great pleasure to introduce to you our guest of honor, Dr. Nicholas Adams. I have known Dr. Nicholas Adams since the year 2002. He teaches at the University of Edinburgh. He has served as the director of the Cambridge Interfaith Program. And just three sentences about the Cambridge Interfaith Program. In the year 2008, Cambridge University celebrated its 800th anniversary. And in celebration of its 800th anniversary, Cambridge University identified 5 areas of inquiry that were going to be relevant and significant for the next 800 years. What are 5 issues that are going to be relevant and significant for the next 800 years for the global community? Not just for England, but for the global community. Among the 5 issues that were identified, one was that Jews, Muslims, and Christians need to come together, study together, that unless we can do this, the future of the global community is very bleak. This is what the leading modern universities are thinking. How many of our moderns in Pakistan are thinking in those terms? Religion, the study of religion, bringing religious communities together in a university setting, that this is a task, this is a project that needs to be undertaken. And the fact that Dr. Nicholas Adams is the chief of guest at the opening ceremony of Dabistan Iqbal, you can already get a sense of where Dabistan Iqbal is headed, if these are the foundations on which this particular institution is going to be built.